They betrayed you, abandoned you, and thought that was the end of your story. But now something unexplainable is happening. They're obsessed, silently watching your every move. Have you noticed? Those who once hurt you can't take their eyes off your journey, no matter how hard they try. You feel their gaze. You sense their hidden fascination. Why are they suddenly so captivated by the life they once discarded? Today, you'll discover the powerful secret behind this mysterious obsession, an effect so deep, so intense, it can only be triggered by the chosen ones. Listen carefully, because every word you're about to hear will confirm what your spirit has already felt but couldn't explain. Before we dive into this revelation, if you sense this message resonates deeply within your soul, I want you to hit the like button right now, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment 99 below. The number 99 carries a powerful spiritual vibration. It confirms your divine protection and marks this exact moment as a turning point. Do it now, and let's begin. They thought your silence meant defeat. They assumed that by cutting you off, they had erased your presence from their world. But what they didn't expect is that your absence would become louder than your voice ever was. The truth is, when a chosen one steps back, it doesn't create distance. It creates a spiritual vacuum. And that vacuum starts to haunt the very people who once believed they could replace you so easily. You see, when they betrayed you, they didn't just lose a person. They lost access to a divine frequency. A frequency that only vibrates in the presence of those who carry a sacred assignment. And no matter how much they try to fill that void with distractions, relationships, or shallow achievements, nothing satisfies. Nothing silences the echo of what they let slip away. They scroll through their feeds, hoping to find glimpses of your life, pretending it's just curiosity. But deep down, it's an ache. A gnawing realization that your absence is a mirror reflecting their mistake back at them, over and over again. They watch in silence, because confronting you would mean confronting their guilt. But here's the mystery: they can't stop. The more they avoid you, the stronger the pull becomes. They check your stories, read your posts, and analyze every detail as if decoding a message they were never meant to understand. Why? Because you carry an energy that, once felt, can never be forgotten. You left an imprint on their spirit, and no betrayal can erase it. Your absence exposes their emptiness. It forces them to sit with the weight of their own choices. They thought walking away from you would grant them peace, but instead, it sentenced them to a restless obsession. And the irony? You're not even trying to be seen. You're focused, aligned, evolving, while they're trapped, watching from the shadows, tethered to a regret they can't escape. And now, every time they see your name, every time they catch a glimpse of your progress, it hits them like a wave they weren't ready to face. It reminds them that no matter how far they run, they can't outrun the spiritual consequences of betraying a chosen one. They didn't just lose you. They lost a portal of blessings that was divinely sent to their lives. But here's where it gets even deeper, because the more they watch, the more that absence transforms into a lesson. And that lesson is only getting louder. You're no longer just the person they betrayed. You're the testimony they can't escape. Stay with me, because what's coming next will reveal why their secret obsession is not just emotional, but spiritual. Something is happening behind the scenes that they don't even understand yet, and you need to know why. There's something about you they couldn't understand back then. They couldn't define it, they couldn't control it. And so they feared it. But now, after their betrayal, that very thing they feared has become their silent obsession. You see, chosen ones are not just people. They are walking frequencies. You carry an invisible signature, a spiritual vibration that alters every atmosphere you enter. It's not about what you say or what you do. It's who you are. When someone crosses paths with a chosen one, whether they realize it or not, they are exposed to a realm they were never prepared to handle. It's not about charisma. It's not about charm. It's a gravitational pull, that touches something deep within their spirit. And when they betray you, they don't just betray a person, they betray a divine connection. But here's the twist: they can't sever that connection. Even after they walk away, even after they convince themselves that you were just a phase, something within them keeps pulling them back to you. They feel it late at night when everything is quiet. They feel it in moments of reflection when their own life feels empty and directionless. There's a magnetic force that compels them to check on you, to search for you, to track your evolution, because witnessing your progress scratches at the wound they created themselves. They don't know why they're so invested. They can't explain why every success of yours feels personal to them. But deep down, their spirit knows exactly why. When someone betrays a chosen one, they unknowingly activate a spiritual tether. That bond, though damaged, still exists, and it refuses to be silenced. This is why their curiosity becomes an obsession. Watching you is no longer a choice, it's a spiritual necessity. Every time you elevate, it triggers something inside them, a mixture of regret, fascination, and an aching desire to understand how you continue to rise despite their attempts to break you. They expected you to fade into irrelevance, but instead, you became more visible, more radiant, more powerful. And that power terrifies them. Yet, they can't look away. Because here's the mystery they never anticipated. When you're a chosen one, your glow intensifies in the aftermath of betrayal. What was meant to dim your light only refined it. You're not just growing, you're transforming. And every phase of your transformation is a silent message to those who once doubted you. I am unstoppable. They read it in your victories, they feel it in your silence, and they see it in every move you make, even when you're not trying to prove anything. But there's a deeper layer to this obsession. What they don't realize is that by watching you, they are witnessing a spiritual phenomenon. They're watching a divine blueprint in motion. You are becoming living proof of how betrayal can't derail destiny. And their souls, whether they admit it or not, are learning that what they tried to sabotage is now a force they'll never understand, but can't ignore. The more they observe, the more they realize you're operating on a frequency they can't reach anymore. They had access once, but now they're just spectators, watching from behind the glass, unable to touch what they once took for granted. And this reality is eating at them, quietly, constantly. But you don't chase them. You don't explain yourself. You let your transformation speak. And that, chosen one, is a power they will never be able to replicate. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will expose the secret regret they're hiding, an emotion so deep they would rather deny it than confront it. But the signs are everywhere, and you're about to see them clearly. Regret is a silent visitor. It doesn't announce itself. It creeps in quietly, haunting them in moments when they least expect. The people who betrayed you, they wear smiles. They project confidence. They pretend they've moved on. But beneath that facade, there's a battle raging within them, because every time they see you rise, every time they witness your progress, a sharp whisper echoes in their minds. You let this one go. They don't talk about it. They don't admit it, even to themselves. But regret has a way of making itself known without words. It shows up in their restless nights, in their sudden pauses when your name is mentioned, in that hollow feeling that no achievement of theirs seems to fill. The truth is, they thought betraying you would give them control. They believed that cutting you out would elevate them. But the reality, it left them chasing empty victories while you evolved into everything they never imagined you'd become. Now, with every success you achieve, their regret deepens. It's not just jealousy, it's an ache, a heavy, suffocating realization that they misjudged you. They remember every conversation where they downplayed your dreams, every moment where they rolled their eyes at your visions, every time they whispered doubts behind your back. And now, those memories burn. Because you're living proof that their doubts were lies. But here's where the weight of guilt becomes unbearable. They didn't just lose a connection with you. They lost access to a future that was meant to be blessed through you. They sabotaged their own blessings when they betrayed you. And deep down, they know it. This is why they can't look away. Watching your victories is a form of self-inflicted punishment, a constant reminder of what they forfeited. Yet, the deeper their regret, the harder they try to mask it. They post curated images of happiness. They surround themselves with noise, distractions, shallow connections, anything to drown out the echo of their mistake. But it's useless. Because regret isn't silenced by external noise. It grows louder in the quiet spaces of the soul. And here's the paradox. The more they see you thrive, the more trapped they become in this cycle of silent remorse. Every milestone you reach reopens the wound. Every elevation of yours is a reminder of their downfall, not because you wished it upon them, but because their own actions aligned them with that consequence. But chosen one, let me reveal a truth they don't want you to know. Their obsession with watching you is not just curiosity. It's a desperate attempt to seek redemption without facing you. They hope that by observing your growth, by silently cheering from the shadows, they can somehow soothe the guilt that festers within. But guilt doesn't dissolve through silent admiration. It demands confrontation. And that's the one thing they fear the most, facing you, facing the truth, and admitting they were wrong. And yet, their regret serves a higher purpose. It becomes the very fuel that forces them to witness your transformation in full. They betrayed you thinking it would break you. Instead, they're now students of the very person they tried to sabotage. Every step you take forward is a silent lesson for them, a divine demonstration of how betrayal cannot cancel destiny. But stay with me, because in the next moment, I'll reveal why their attempts to witness your downfall have now backfired, why they're being forced to watch your rise from a front row seat, and why this spiritual irony is far from over. They sat in the front row, waiting for the spectacle of your downfall. They believed betrayal would be the final blow, the masterstroke that would leave you without the strength to rise again. They convinced themselves that without their support, without their validation, you would slowly crumble into irrelevance. But what they didn't know is that the chosen ones don't fall. The chosen ones transform. Every time you stumbled, they celebrated in silence. Every silence of yours, they interpreted as weakness. Every time you disappeared from their radar, they whispered among themselves, "I knew they wouldn't make it." But while they delighted in their false sense of superiority, you were in process. A process invisible to arrogant eyes. You weren't falling. You were preparing your rebirth. What they don't understand is that ashes are not a symbol of defeat for a chosen one. Ashes are raw material to create a deadlier, wiser, more unbreakable version. And now, every step you take forward is a silent slap to the ego of those who underestimated you. They planned to see you destroyed, but ended up as involuntary spectators of your unstoppable ascension. Every victory of yours is a wound to their pride. Not because you use them to humiliate them. You don't have time for that. It's because your achievements scream truths they tried to bury. Truths that confront them with their own mediocrity, reminding them that while they were betraying you, you kept building in silence a life they never imagined. And now, no matter how far they are, no matter how many excuses they invent, there's something that keeps chasing them. You. Your name comes up in conversations they cannot avoid. Your achievements surface in places where they thought they were safe. Your presence follows them, even in your absence. Because the universe has a very peculiar way of making sure that those who expected your fall are forced to witness your flight. But there's something even more painful for them. They are realizing they have no control. They wanted to be the authors of your story, dictating when you would rise and when you would fail. But now, they're mere spectators. They are trapped in a seat without being able to change the script, watching as the person they despised becomes everything they wish to be. You didn't just get back up. You ascended. And every time you achieve something new, every time you overcome an obstacle, They feel a void they don't know how to fill. Because deep down, they know your triumphs are irrefutable proof that their betrayal didn't have the effect they dreamed of. But here comes the divine irony. The more success you have, the more trapped they feel. Because now they are no longer in a position to sabotage you. All they have left is to watch, in silence, as the person they thought they had defeated rises to heights they will never reach. Stay with me, because what I'm going to reveal to you in the next moment is even deeper. You will discover how your story has transformed into a divine lesson that God is using to expose them, forcing them to learn, by watching you from a distance. You thought this was just about you and them. You thought their betrayal was a personal wound, a chapter you had to close quietly and move on. But what you didn't realize, what they never expected, is that your story was never just personal. It was designed as a divine lesson, a blueprint of justice that heaven is now using to expose, correct, and teach those who wronged you. When God marks someone as a chosen one, every event in their life, especially the betrayals, becomes a tool for divine demonstration. Your pain wasn't wasted. Your tears didn't fall into the void. Every struggle you endured in silence was recorded, not just for your vindication, but to become a mirror for those who thought they could harm you without consequence. Now, their obsession with you isn't just an emotional reaction. It's a spiritual summons. God has them watching, not out of curiosity, but because they need to see, in real time, what happens when someone tries to sabotage a divine assignment. Your life has become the very classroom where their soul is being taught lessons they refuse to learn through humility. Every step you take forward is a lesson in grace under pressure. Every victory you claim is a module in a course called "You Cannot Curse What God Has Blessed." They tried to dismantle your purpose, but now they're forced to witness how God rebuilds His chosen with glory, power, and undeniable favor. This is why they can't look away. It's not about you flaunting your success. It's about divine justice unfolding in a way that their spirit cannot ignore. Their own actions have locked them into a front-row seat, watching the one they dismissed, the one they thought would fall, ascend beyond their reach. It's no longer just your comeback, it's their curriculum. Understand this: God didn't need to use vengeance in the way the world understands it. He chose to use your elevation as the ultimate response. No words, no confrontations, no retaliation, just undeniable progress. That's why their conscience is louder now. That's why their fascination with your life is inescapable. Because every time they see you thriving, it exposes the cracks in their character they've been running from. But it goes even deeper. God is using your story not just for them, but for others watching silently in the background. There are people observing how you handled betrayal with dignity, how you kept your focus when the easiest path was to retaliate. Your life is becoming a testimony for people who are learning, through your example, how divine justice moves, slow, steady, but always victorious. This is why you've been feeling a shift in the atmosphere. It's not just personal growth, it's spiritual broadcasting. Your story is echoing louder now, reaching hearts and minds that need to see living proof that God doesn't abandon His chosen. And every time they witness your triumph, they're not just seeing you, they're seeing the hand of God in motion. But here's the final twist. Their obsession is actually a hidden form of conviction. Watching you is not entertainment for them. It's an unspoken confrontation with the reality of who you are and who they chose to be. And that contrast will continue to sharpen until they're faced with a choice: acknowledge the lesson or be tormented by the evidence of their mistake. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share in the conclusion will bring everything together. You'll understand why everything you've been through was not just a battle, but a setup for a divine vindication that's already unfolding, and why this is the moment you must step into your full power. Listen closely, chosen one. They betrayed you thinking they could bury your destiny. They laughed in secret, convinced they had silenced your purpose. But what they didn't know is that heaven had already written your comeback long before their betrayal. And now, they're no longer participants in your story. They're spectators, trapped in the front row of your victory, forced to witness every step of your rise. Every glance they cast upon your life is a silent confession. They won't say it out loud, but their eyes can't hide it. They see the divine fire within you, and it terrifies them. They see the strength they underestimated, the grace they mocked, the resilience they thought they shattered. And yet, you're still standing, taller, stronger, unshaken. Understand this: every view, every silent click, every moment they spend watching you is a divine reminder of a truth they tried to erase. You are chosen. You are not just a survivor of betrayal. You are the conqueror of the narrative they tried to write against you. What they intended for your downfall became the very platform of your elevation. You're not here to prove them wrong. You're here to prove that God's plans are unstoppable, and you are living proof that no weapon formed against a chosen one will ever prosper. They thought they could define your worth with their rejection. But now, heaven is using your life as an undeniable testimony of vindication. This is your moment. Your story isn't a tragedy. It's a divine declaration. You are the evidence that betrayal is powerless against destiny. You are the walking answer to every whispered doubt, every silent judgment, every hidden agenda that tried to cancel your calling. And now, I want you to claim this truth in the spiritual realm. If this message resonates in your soul, I want you to drop a comment right now. My victory is divine, not just as words, but as a prophetic confirmation that every plan sent to harm you has already failed. Like this video, share it with someone who needs this fire, and let this message echo far beyond this moment. You are not here by accident. You are not watching this by coincidence. This is your divine awakening. Step into it, own it, live it. Because from this moment on, you will no longer be watched as a victim. You will be remembered as the proof that God exalts those who were wronged.